go.
So, hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Conrad, and I am the editor-in-chief of Arizona Ascent. And today we are in the Inside the Ascent podcast, and we have a very special guest, Dany Cuellar Zapata. I got it right this time. That's right. The founder and CEO of Wipp AI. How are you doing? Thank you so much for coming back on.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have you because it's been several months. The last time I think we have met was at the AI Collective event in September of last year, 2025, right? It was their launch, and it was your kind of introduction into Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So so I know our viewers got to know a little bit about you because you went to Harvard Business School and you started your company and you grew up here, right?
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about you. Just let's go more in depth. Talk a little bit about what AI, what got you started into becoming a founder, doing your startup.
Okay. Well, I think I'll take you back to kind of where I grew up and what that was like. So we moved to the Phoenix area. I actually used to live in Tucson back when I was younger. We moved to the Phoenix area when I was starting high school, which is a terrible time to displace your kids.
Yes. High school is the most formative period.
Exactly. And since then, I went to school out here at Arizona State. I've watched Arizona change a lot. I was very into economics when I was at ASU, and I wanted to pursue my PhD in econ before I actually decided to take a job with PepsiCo. So straight out of ASU, I started my first job, my first adult job, and I was actually driving trucks for them in the state of New Mexico.
Driving trucks, okay.
Yeah, so big 16-wheeler semi-trucks. You had to, essentially, the company does this brilliant thing where they make everybody, no matter what job they're hired for, start from the bottom. So I was driving the trucks, merchandising, convenience stores, supermarkets, and eventually, after a lot of training doing that, I moved up to managing a few accounts, which was really, really cool. And in that time, there was this opening in Denver for a job position a bit higher than what I was set for in terms of corporate promotions. But I really, really wanted the job. I thought I could do well in it. And I also wanted to move to Colorado, which is great. Yeah, not great. So I really, really asked for the job, and I got a big no a few times, but they couldn't fill the position. So they sent me up there since they had nobody that could do it. So they sent me up there till they found somebody permanent. I got up there and I really started working very intensely into proving that I could be manager of all these accounts and all these people. And it was very successful. So I really bonded with my team. And it was strange because I was in my young 20s. And suddenly I had about 30 employees that were around my dad's age. So I'd say 55 and up.
Yeah.
So it was difficult for me to come in and be hi guys,
yeah, because that age gap is huge.
Age gap was huge. The gender gap was there. So I took a very interesting approach with the team where I told them, hey, I know I'm very fresh and very new, but you have the opportunity to essentially mold me into your perfect manager because I know nothing. And I can be the boss that you would want me to be and really take the feedback of how you would want to run this company if you were in my shoes. So in a weird way, I was deep inside corporate America, but it was very startup-y because I was running the district and the territory unlike anybody had really ran it before, taking a lot of feedback from the employees, following them on the job, really trying to understand their day-to-day. And how could I remove roadblocks for them to be the most successful that they could be? And it turned out to be really, really great because we were the top sales team in the nation for about 3 years in a row. And we did just an extraordinary job. And what happened while we were, sales merchandisers and truck drivers all in the state of Colorado, Kansas, parts of Wyoming, that was the region, we went through a lot together. We went through the pandemic together. We were essential employees, so we never did the whole work from home. We were always out in the field. merchandise in supermarkets. That was part of what we needed to. But because the pandemic was ongoing, a lot of political and market changes were happening around us. Schools were closing, and it was really difficult for my employees that had kids that did not know what to do with the kids. There was OSHA mandates that were being brought into like every company above 100 employees. I had a lot of employees that were, very hesitant to get vaccinated, and they were threatening to quit if those OSHA mandates went through. I had Burger King opening down the street offering $19 an hour to flip burgers, and I paid my employees about $17.50 the hour that was, which was significantly less for a much harder job. And on top of all of this, the supply chain was crashing.
Yeah.
So it was it turned even the most apolitical people into political people, I'd say. Lots of opinions on like what should change. And that's what kickstarted my fascination for US politics, because at the end of the day, we were all across, red and blue states. So it was a lot of different beliefs on what should be done and how the government should be acting. And something that I noticed just that even though they all had very strong, you could even say polarizing political views on both sides of the aisle, at the end of the day, everybody just wanted the same thing.
Yeah.
To be able to earn a livable wage, to provide for their family, have work-life balance, feel purposeful in what they did every day, and continue to service customers that they love. And so I thought it was interesting the way that very disparate sides of the political aisle sometimes are saying the same message, just in a very different package and framing, because we all share this liking of wanting to do the same, and have the same things.
Yeah. And especially being during COVID, that was such a trying time for everybody, for every industry. And you think about it, that time in COVID got a lot of people thinking about what they wanted to do. Do they see themselves in corporate America? And a lot of people decide, I'm going to maybe go down and start my own company. I mean, and you think about what was happening at the time, especially like mental health and especially like placed in the corporate field. Because at that time I was still working corporate. I was working for a tech company that was based in Montreal, but they have offices here, and literally we central employees as well. We couldn't even had to wear a mask, and that got me thinking like, man, I'm like, that's where I started kind of thinking about my own, building my own like empire or stuff like that. So let's kind of move from that, move into like that's where you got your political, the wealth, maybe not the wealth, but maybe the interest in the political systems. How did you make that pivot from PepsiCo to working with all these employees into going into Vesalito as the foundation of Wipp AI?
Yeah, I think it was the foundation in the sense that it planted the seed in my head, and then just my passion for politics in general really started to spiral out of hand.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I had decided to go get my MBA at Harvard. And when I was there during my first year, I started working with digital print technology in another startup. And I got so fascinated with AI. And it really was this new wave of the world's going to radically change. We don't know how it's going to radically change until probably has changed. And I wanted to call it surf that wave, if you must. And I wanted to combine it with something that I was already spending all my time doom scrolling and reading and really just loved to learn more about. So I thought, and I looked at the sphere of how can I combine this love for US politics with this newfound passion for AI and turn it into a business that helps promote democracy, helps promote just the values that I really, really deeply believe in. So that's kind of like the foundation of Wipp.
Let's go.